All right, welcome class. My name is Kendrick Kim, your instructor from the second week. I have a guest speaker here named Anthony Bried. We call him AKA Tony. He is from the OC Realtors and he will introduce himself. Please listen to the presentation and have your mic off, and we'll answer questions at the end. Take it away, Tony.
Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our Agent Jumpstart session. I am, whoops, if I can get that down there. All of a sudden having technical issues here. I'm your host, Anthony. I work at Orange County Realtors, which is a Realtors Association. We're going to have a lot of fun going over a lot of things. I know you guys, Ken was just saying this is your second class. So we're just going to have a lot of explanations of what you're going to need to do at the time that you join, or after you get your license, what you need to do to be able to buy, sell, lease properties in the state of California. Now, real quickly, again, I work at an association called Orange County Realtors. I've been there now for almost 19 years. Started off in the MLS department. So I know eventually when you do decide to join Orange County Realtors that I will speak to you regarding rules, regulations, violations, all that fun stuff. What I'm involved with is the outreach program. The outreach program is designed to basically give agents training on all their tools and products. I am Zip Forms certified. Now, what Zip Forms is, real quickly, and you'll probably hear me go through this explanation again fairly soon, is the electronic platform for putting together your contracts for your transactions electronically. It's one of your state provided member benefits. I also love training on technology besides the MLS. By the way, if you don't know what MLS stands for, it stands for Multiple Listing Service. Basically, that's your access to a plethora of information of properties going back close to 20 years. That way you can, find properties for your active buyers, list properties for your active sellers, landlords, things like that, to be able to earn a commission or basically earn a fee. So I show training on that. And of course, I love showing agents how they can utilize technology to better their real estate careers. We all know we've all been through COVID, so you're probably very used to doing webinar trainings and things like that. Now, I've been training on technology for a little over 15 years, and it was really interesting to see how many agents really took to the technology world very easily and effortlessly. So it was really good to see that. And of course, technology has changed over the years. So really, what we're going to go over today, hopefully in the next hour, hour and a half, I'm going to go over what the National Association of Realtors is, basically what the term realtor stands for. We're going to go and touch on the California Association of Realtors, which is the state level of your membership, if and when you do decide to join. We're going to touch on Zip Forms, so I'm going to show you basically how agents can put together transactions very easily and effortlessly to be able to buy, sell, and lease properties. I'm also going to go over what OC Realtors membership offers to you, MLS, your super key, and of course, additional member benefits and resources. Now, eventually, after you get your license, this is what you're going to have to end up doing, right? So how realtor associations and the MLS fit together for you, because you're probably going over a ton of stuff, right? Like the principles and code of ethics and, all the meanings, like, oh goodness, trusts and probates and, all this other fun stuff that you guys are going to be learning. So how is this all going to tie together? Well, eventually what's going to happen is you're going to be able to take your DRE test. Okay. Once you get your dates, you're going to take it. You're going to get your license. At that point, you're going to take your license. You're going to find a brokerage to belong to, right? Hundreds of thousands of brokerages across California, right? You've got First Team, you've got Realty One, you've got the mom and pops, brokerages, everything like that. Now, after you join a brokerage, that's going to dictate what association you belong to. Okay. Hopefully, you will be able to join Orange County Realtors. Now, we are one of 45 different associations, part of the CRMLS MLS system. Okay. But what's nice about this is that when you join us, you're also going to be joining, several other organizations like CRMLS, which stands for California Regional Multiple Listing Service. This is the MLS system, the MLS database. Okay. Then you're going to also belong to the California Association of Realtors, which is the state. And of course, you're going to belong to the National Association of Realtors, which is NAR, okay, which is the federal level. So when you join us, you're also joining these other entities. So 4 entities in one. Now, real quickly, some of the things that we're going to talk about when it comes to the National Association of Realtors is one of your national benefits or NAR benefits called RPR, which stands for Realtor Property Resource. And what this tool allows you to do is look at tax data information on listed and unlisted properties across the United States. More than 61 million properties you have access to look at all their data records. You also, as a member benefit for NAR, you can belong to or will belong to Realtor.com. Now, Realtor.com is a free NAR product that allows you to market yourself. Now, I will say everybody's probably have heard of Zillow, right? And if you want, you can raise your hand real quick so we can take a quick little show of hands here. I'm sure we've all heard Zillow. And if you haven't heard of Zillow, I'm sure you probably at least seen a commercial or two, right? Good. I've seen a bunch of hands raised, right? Well, funny enough, before there was Zillow, there was Realtor.com. And crazy enough, some of the engineers that started up Realtor.com actually started up Zillow. So if it wasn't for Realtor.com, Zillow wouldn't exist. But basically, Realtor.com allows you to be able to market yourself. You have a lot of free cool tools offered to you through Realtor.com. This is a public portal for anybody in the world to go to find properties in the United States. It'll have the MLS listing. It'll have the listing agent information, things like that for agents and community to connect. Okay. So you're going to have a lot of cool things at your disposal, honestly, with all 4 entities here to be able to market, to be able to gain business quickly and easily. Now, we are a business partner. Okay. If you're brand new to the business or just a few years, fortunately, you don't have to be out there alone. Orange County Realtors is your business partner. Okay. We provide you tangible insight and guidance to help you increase the profits throughout your career. Okay. Basically, we give you the tools, we give you the training, things like that to be basically sharpen your skills and stay competitive in today's tech-driven real estate industry. Okay. That's our job. Now, we're going to start off talking about National Association of Realtors, NAR. Okay. NAR is America's largest trade association of real estate professionals with actually, as of last year, 1.4 million members. This year in 2021, 1.5 million members nationwide belong to NAR. Okay. Now, the National Association of Realtors' website, nar.realtor, which we'll go to in just a few minutes, offers the industry news, research, marketing tools like flyers, infographics, things like that, that you as an agent could use. Okay. Also, they provide education resources from code of ethics to obtaining designations to help you elevate yourself and become a market specialist in maybe a particular field. Okay. Also, NAR has a government affairs division, which advocates for the federal policies to help strengthen the abilities of Americans to own, buy, and sell real estate property, because they're an advocate for real estate property rights for not just real estate agents, but members of the public. Okay. They're the ones out there trying to fight for interest mortgage rate deductions. They're the ones that are out there trying to make sure that federally, there's a level playing field for everyone to be able to buy and sell real estate without any discrimination or, um, um, oh goodness, I just drew a blank, without any possible discrimination, right? And of course, being a realtor member, you're also held up to a higher code of ethics. You have an industry standard, which you'll be, and Ken, maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but you basically have an ethics course that you go over, right? It's your principles course.
Yes, we do go over a code of ethics. Even after we are licensed, we have to go through code of ethics training once every 2 years.
3 years now.
3 years now.
3 years.
Correction. 3 years. Thank you.
Yeah, which falls on an odd number because when you get your license, you have every 4 years to renew it. So somewhere along the lines, that code of ethics falls in there where you're doing it every odd year. But that's awesome. So basically what makes realtors stand above everybody else who has a real estate license is that code of ethics and is that standard that you hold to yourself, right? Not only do you hold yourself to the standard, but it says, I will treat members of the public, fellow agents, and of course, be truthful in any and all my marketing, to the industry, okay, to the world. Now, this is what NAR looks like. If you go to nar.realtor, which we'll go there in a second, you'll be able to look at real estate topics, the news, what's been happening. You'll probably notice that there were lawsuits filed last year, and you'll get the updates on these lawsuits and how that is going to affect or possibly affect the real estate industry. Here you get to see some of your member benefits. You got a lot of discounts offered to you, like discounts on computer products, your cell phones, like your bills. So depending on who you're with, like being an NAR member, I do believe if you have Verizon, you get like a 20% extra discount for just being a realtor. Okay. You also get tons of discounts on like hotels and travel and rental cars and whole slew of stuff. You also get to research statistics, nationwide statistics regarding the real estate industry. People want to know what the real estate world's like. Not only can you look at stuff per the state, per your local industry, but of course, what's happening across the nation. Political advocacy. This is where we get to see all the laws handed out by the federal government and what NAR is trying to fight for or against. Education. This is where we can go to look at up our code of ethics, get specialized training to get special designations from ePro to the paperless agent to even GRI, which is the General Real Estate or Graduate Real Estate Institute, which is a huge educational program, which I'll show you guys here in just a few minutes. Of course, news and events, things that are happening, stay up to date about what's going on, a little bit about NAR, and so much more. Okay. Now, real quickly, you've heard me use the term realtor. By the way, it's pronounced realtor, not realtor. You'll notice that there is no A between the L and the T, which is a common mispronunciation. But if you're going to be a realtor, you got to learn how to pronounce it correctly. So realtor. So real, R-E-A-L, T-O-R, tor. That's it. 2 syllables. Okay. Now, not all real estates are realtors. Okay. So the term realtor is a registered collective of membership mark that identifies a real estate professional who is a member of the National Association of Realtors. So you can't use the realtor designation, okay, which we'll show you here in a second. Whoops. Which is this little symbol of the R. You can't use that designation unless you're a realtor. If you're a non-member or even just an MLS only member belonging to the MLS, that does not give you the rights to use the realtor logo or call yourself a realtor in the industry, okay, legally. So if and when you become a realtor, this again helps you stand out above and beyond everybody else. And again, that term is a professional term because it says that you belong to the National Association of Realtors, which is the largest trade association in the United States. Now we're going to come up to the state level, which is the California Association of Realtors, CAR. www.car.org is the state website. Here, California Association of Realtors is the statewide association of the National Association of Realtors. And the purpose of California Association of Realtors is to serve the membership in developing and promoting programs and services that help enhance the members' freedom and ability to conduct their individual business successfully. So they will have their own training courses, specially designated for you being here in the state of California. This is also where you're going to be able to get free legal advice from the CAR attorneys, which is a great situation because, geez, maybe there's a situation where, I've put an offer in on Ken's listing and somehow along the way, I feel that Ken isn't doing something legally. Well, maybe my brokerage doesn't have a legal department or risk management department. And my broker has said, well, you might need to consult a real estate attorney. Well, guess what? I can call CAR or California Association of Realtors, and their legal department will give me free legal advice. Okay. They can't give anybody else any free legal advice, but me being a member of CAR or California Association of Realtors, one of my benefits is that I can get free legal advice to find out if Ken is doing something unethically or unlawful based on my questions and the situation. And now based on their answers will allow me to go about the business and conduct the business with Ken appropriately. Now, besides the free legal advice, we also have access to zip forms. And again, zip forms is your electronic contracts that you can now put together those transactions electronically, send them out for digital signatures to a client or set of clients, and be able to do your business on the go. Okay. Now, again, their website is www.car.org. It offers that information about the transaction on the contracts. They even give you education on your contracts. It's called Forms Tutor. Again, you have a free digital signing platform called Digital Ink to allow you to digitally sign contracts very easily and effortlessly at no extra cost to you. Excuse me. You also have access to the legal hotline and, of course, some standard form resources, market updates, alerts on critical legislation, things like that that are affecting home ownership here in California. And there is a lot, by the way. You may or may not be aware of this. So this is a great place to go to be able to look at state legislation that is looking to be passed, okay, or has passed. So this is a great, great tool, okay? Now, Orange County Realtors, the local association, okay? Our mission is to help you promote or help promote to realtors the code of ethics, provide you guys education and services and resources to our members, and of course, advocate for the protection of real property rights. Again, so at all three levels, national, state, and of course, local, we try to fight for property rights and protection of those rights, okay? We want to make sure everybody, agents, homeowners, and of course, potential homeowners, okay, have their rights protected to buy, sell, and lease properties, okay? Now, why join Orange County Realtors? Well, as you face more of everything, more technology, regulation, competition, more demands of your time and attention, you don't have to be out there alone. Choose us as your business partner, because again, we try to help you get the necessary education on your tech, on the regulations, on the contracts, things like that, to help elevate you in your business. Okay. And how we are going to do that, we got four major principles that we live by. We live by our service, our customer service, I feel is bar none. Okay. No matter what, you can give us a call, shoot us an email, and somebody is there to be able to answer your questions or at least guide you on where you need to get those questions answered. Again, education is a big thing. Not only am I part of the outreach program where I give training to agents on their tech, but we actually at Orange County Realtors have more than 400 classes, most of which are all free to our members, from which I want to say near the end of this or end of September, we have training on the RPA or residential purchase agreement. And they are updating that contract by the end of the year to make it more robust. And what I mean by that, that contract is going from 10 pages long to 16 pages to be able to purchase a property. Okay. Not only that, we have education on how to list a property and how to do marketing and social media marketing and things like that. We also have ethics training. So we base our principles on ethics education. And of course, we make sure that agents are practicing ethically. And of course, our last principle is advocacy to the governments, both local, state, and national, to make sure that property rights are for everyone and that we fight for the ones that are great and fight against the ones that are really bad. Okay. And in a way, with Orange County Realtors, you can think of us as 8 businesses in one. Okay. Part of this business partnership that we have with you, we are your store. Okay. What I mean by that is that you can come by, purchase things like your signs, your lock boxes, marketing materials, things like that, that you might need. Even sometimes we have contracts. We've got booties. We've got flyer brochures that you can purchase. We also, and again, reiterate, we're a school. So we pride ourselves on 400 classes to help show you what you need to get done in order to elevate you higher in your real estate career. We're also a public affairs company. Basically, we reach out to not only other agents, but we connect you with affiliate members. And now an affiliate member is somebody that provides services from your lenders, your title, your escrows, personnel to people like staging homes and photographers and marketers and things like that. You know, we connect you with those other businesses. We also, which also falls under our business network. Also in the public affairs, we have volunteer groups, okay, to help reach out and communicate, you know, with other associations, other members. We connect up with local governance, like the, the town hall and people like that, to be able to introduce people together. Okay. We're also a news source. So as information comes on through, we want to make sure it's distributed out to you. Orange County Realtors sends out a bi-monthly magazine. We send out weekly newsletters and emails to our members, apprising them of the classes and things that are going on in your business. We're even a charity member benefit program network. Okay. So we have our own charity that other agents donate to help other agents in times of need during financial hardships. Maybe you got into a bad accident and you're laid up in bed and you're not able to make some of your bills or things like that. Well, Orange County Realtors has what a charity called Orange County or OC Realtors Cares, which is a realtors charity for real estate agents. Okay, it's for our members. And I think that program, I think you can get up to $3,000 to help you, in your financial hardship. Now, what I mean by financial hardship, again, due to accident or medical reasons or anything like that, you would apply to this charity and the charity can give you out the money. But this also affords you the opportunity to donate to that charity if you choose. Okay. And we usually ask members to donate at least $5 per year or more if they so choose. Okay. So we're all this. And of course, we're here for you at the center of this to help make your lives a lot easier. Now, under member services, we have 2 office locations. We have one in Laguna Hills, and we also have another location in the Fountain Valley office, or in Fountain Valley, off of Talbert. Again, we have political advocacy. We have a government affairs director. Her name's Darissy Doan. And what she does is she goes to local, state, and federal functions, meeting with government officials and talking about and fighting for or against certain legislation. She'll actually bring to light certain things that are coming down the pike about what laws are in the pipeline to try to get passed, and what you can do to fight against or fight for those laws to get to your congressperson to make that impression. And by the way, NAR and CAR are the large, you being part of that really has a lot of pull with our government legislators to fight for or against things. We also have a license renewal and education and designation classes. We do offer license renewal. So every 4 years, you have to renew your license. Well, we have those necessary courses that you can go through, take your test online, and we help you renew your license every 4 years. Excuse me. We also have legal assistance and professional standards department. Basically, we have a mediation center. So if there is a dispute between agents, or maybe there's a code of ethics dispute, we have a department that you can work with to be able to file against or another agent that's breaking those ethics. We also have about 36 different committees that you can belong to that have some sort of influence in your industry. From the MLS committee. The MLS committee basically meets about rules, regulations, things coming down the pike, new tools, things like that. We also have a pro standards committee, which is great because now you can take an education course in code of ethics, and now you can sit on one of those arbitration panels to be able to listen to somebody's case like a judge, to be able to rule on that case if you choose. We also have a global committee so that agents can now get together and talk about how our real estate industry is trying to go global, whether making a global MLS system or making it a nationwide MLS system. That really, comes into play. Also, how to connect with other people in other countries to be able to make that transition to have a referral network available to agents across the nation and across the world. Okay. Also, we have marketing meetings, which is great for networking and business networking. Find out what properties are up for sale in your industry. That way you become the local market expert to know what's going on around you. Not to mention, it's always nice to build great rapport with other real estate agents who have listings. That way you can greet them. So something like that is always nice and influential for if you do have a buyer and you do write up an offer and you submit it to somebody, that listing agent, if they happen to know you, may look at your offer a little bit differently and go, geez, I know that Ken's a really good, honorable person. I've met him. He seems really intelligent. I might push for his offer to get accepted just because I've met Ken at a couple of those marketing meetings. And again, we have an affiliates partnership, meaning that, again, we've got about, I want to say 1,100 affiliate members, each with their own different unique services. And again, those unique services can be multiple lenders, title companies, escrow companies, photographers, videographers, marketers, flyer designers, signage, everything that you can think of, you will be able to have access to. Okay. Let's see here. Realtor Tools, we have the Client Direct, which is our newsletter that goes out every other week. We also are online resources, so articles that are ready for you as somebody in the market to use to be able to distribute and help you brand yourself by handing out these source materials. We have something called House Logic, which is a consumer tips and tricks for home improvements. And again, great for marketing pieces to hand out to people who are maybe thinking about selling. The Realtor Property Resource, RPR, and Realist Tax. Both of these are member benefits to be able to look up property tax data information, all public data, to be able to create what they call CMAs, comparative market analysis, to be able to go over market realities. When you're sitting down with a potential seller, now all of a sudden you can talk intelligently about the property because you've actually researched the property. You know who's on title, you know how many bedrooms and bathrooms and square footage, you know what they owe on their taxes. And of course, you get to see all the sales history, which is going to be great for when you're in the MLS, because you want to be able to compare the apples to apples when you're making that CMA. And of course, we have a great tool for when you do list a property called RELA, R-E-L-A, which allows you as an agent to be able to create a property website for your clients quickly and easily in less than 5 minutes that you can put out there in the world to help promote and sell that home. Okay, so we have all these tools. Now, by the way, Orange County Realtors, or OC Realtors, also allows agents to log into their tools, to the CRMLS, to Supra, zip forms, all through our website, okay, which we'll demonstrate here in a minute. Now, the MLS, what is the multiple listing service? The multiple listing service basically is a suite of services that enables real estate brokers and their agents to establish contractual offers of compensation amongst brokers and agents, and facilitates the cooperation with other brokers and their agents. Basically, you're going to hear the terms MLS, multiple listing system, multiple listing service, things like that, okay? The multiple listing services database and software is used by real estate agents and their brokers to be able to look up properties or find properties for clients, okay? Or input listings. Now, specifically, California Regional Multiple Listing Service, CRMLS, is the largest MLS system or database in the United States, with more than 90,000 brokers and agents who participate in this system. Also, CRMLS is the largest repository of property data that brokers and agents can have access. Okay, you can access more than 200,000 listings going back about 20 years. So you have a plethora of information at your fingertips. Now, if you don't believe me, most of you probably have gone onto the web, right, to see your listings or to see a property or find a property. That's all because of the multiple listing service. Your listing goes out to, when an agent inputs a listing into the MLS, that listing goes out to more than 90,000 public websites worldwide. So Zillow, Trulia, Homes.com, Realtor.com, LATimes.com, OC Register, Freedom and Soft, Homes and Land, US HUD, LandWatch, all these websites, okay? A ton of websites. It is virtually impossible for someone not to find a listing on the internet if it's listed in the MLS. And one of the things I always stress to agents, especially in my MLS rules class, is that you're doing your client a disservice, or they're doing themselves a disservice if a client says, I don't want my listing posted in the MLS. If a client's telling you something like that, they're making it super challenging for you to sell that home and market that property. Because one of the things that you are promising them, especially in the listing agreement, is to give them the best and most exposure to that home to bring in the highest and best offer. Well, if they've limited you on how that property is to be marketed, are they realistically going to want the highest and best offer? And that's a way to talk to a client. If you want the highest and best offer, then you need to make sure that I am allowed, or that you allow me to post my listing or that listing into the MLS and market it appropriately, because I'm here for you. Because the better I do in my marketing, the better you're going to get in the results to get the highest and best offer. Okay. Now, another tool that agents are going to be using is what they call Supra. This is basically the electronic key service that you pay for once you become a member. And what this will allow you to do is access lock boxes to be able to enter into homes. Okay. This nice little tool, which costs $15 a month for MLS members, will allow them to obtain a key out of the lockbox to enter the property. So you're there with your clients, you're previewing properties. This tool here is going to be vital for you to go and show those homes. Without this tool, you're limiting yourself. So with that said, that's my basic presentation. But before we get started, let me just demonstrate some of the things and the tools that we have here. Okay, we're going to first jump off this presentation, and I'm going to first go to ocrealtors.org's website. This is where you as an agent, after you join your broker, you're going to go. Okay, so www.ocrealtors.org. From here, you need to join as a member. The way you're going to do that, very simply, you're going to move your mouse to where it says Member Services. A drop-down menu is going to appear. And from here, what you can now do is click on where it says Membership. Now, real quickly, down below, as we scroll on down, you've got various different levels of membership. Okay. Now, eventually, you will become a realtor. If you join a full board realtor office, you will need to become a realtor. Now, the way you become a realtor is very simply, you're going to click on the box here, sign up as a realtor. And from here, this is going to explain everything that you need to do in order to become a realtor with Orange County Realtors. Here we have our cost. If you are joining in the month of September, which is just a mere 2 days away, from now to the end of the year, it's going to be about $610 from now to the end of the year. And the reason why it's so much is the processing fees. Usually every year from January to February, you do your renewal. And that, I want to say this year was about $1,053 for returning realtor members. Now, here we have our online application. It tells you exactly what you need in order to join. So your license, a copy of your driver's license, the application filled out and signed by your broker as well as you. And then, of course, you're going to submit it, and you can do it all online. So that means that you're going to need your credit card payment form. And once you do that within a day, you're off to the races getting access. Now, before we start showing you access to the MLS, I want to show you a couple other things here. Back under Member Services, here we can go to the MLS. We can look at our rules and regulations. We can access the MLS directly from our website. We can get some other information about the MLS, like their phone number, their email address, things like this. Okay, so if we need tech support, we can reach out to CRMLS directly. We can even watch MLS training videos on how to add and modify a listing, run searches in the MLS, things like that. So you're not left alone, not just having to take a class. Here you can watch their pre-recorded videos at any given time. Okay. Now, also, under the MLS section, we have the marketing meetings. Excuse me, the marketing meetings are great to see what listings are on preview. Each and every week, Orange County Realtors has I want to say six, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different marketing meetings that we help host. Each area has its own set of cities on designated days when the preview happens. This is a great way of being able to go and attend these meetings, to be able to network with other agents, to see what listings are on the market, which is really great for you to get to know your market. If you're marketing in these areas, to be able to sit down with potential buyers and talk to them about what's going on and what's available. And again, when I get to network with other agents, meet, greet, talk to them, it's always a great way of building rapport. And of course, affiliate members also attend these meetings. So it's a great way of getting introduced to people who have services that you may want to take advantage of. And again, we have 6 different meetings all with different designated days for designated areas that we cover. Now, each and every association, and I want to say there are 6 different associations in Orange County alone. So Orange County Realtors is just one of 6, but there's also Pacific West Association of Realtors. There's also Laguna Beach, Newport Beach, Downey Association of Realtors, just to name a few. Depending on your broker, will designate what association you belong to, but each and every one of those different associations does have marketing meetings for their different locations that they control or service, I should say. Let's see here. Besides the marketing services, back to membership. I do want to bring out one thing here. I know that we're going over a lot of stuff today, and maybe you want to take advantage of some things ahead of time, maybe before you get your license, maybe to see what Orange County Realtors has to offer. We do have a student membership. Now, the student membership, I do believe, costs you only $25 a year. Let's see here. Yep, it's $25 a year annually. What this will allow you to do is take advantage of some of the courses that we do have to offer. Again, most of the trainings are free to our members. This won't give you MLS access, but you can at least peruse some of the benefits, look at what we have access to take a look at, maybe demonstrate. But again, this will allow you to get that little bit of taste. And of course, $25 would be applied to your full-on membership when you do decide to join Orange County Realtors. So again, to get access to this, just simply move your mouse to where it says member services, click on membership, and then scroll down to where it says student and say join as a student. So while you're even taking your courses here with Ken, I encourage you to become a student member. Okay. All you need to be is at least 18 years of age. You don't have a real estate license just yet. And of course, you're enrolled in some sort of education institution, which you are right now. So right now, I do believe, Ken, correct me if I'm wrong, everybody here today totally qualifies, correct?
Yes, these students are college students, and they do have their student ID information and schedule of classes, so they can qualify for that $25 membership fee annually.
Yep.
My only question to you is right now, and I know we're not in Q&A, but I'm going to ask this to clarify. Is this annual membership on a calendar year or fiscal year? So if they register today, then they're expired next year, August 2022, right?
No, it expires December. So you're paying $25 from today to the end of December, and then you're going to be, then you'll be sent another bill for $25 from January to December.
Okay, it might be more beneficial for students, perhaps, if they want to join in the beginning of January, if they choose to, just to get some information.
Right.
Okay.
Which is fine, which is totally fine. But again, if you want to be ahead of the game, and again, I don't know where everybody's at in their career. Like, I don't know if anybody here is, already going through and getting their license, or you're waiting to hear back. You're just taking the student courses here to broaden your education to become better so that you can hopefully maybe pass your test. But if you're, kind of right there, I would definitely encourage this, only because, take advantage of, again, our free classes. That way, when you do get your license, you're hitting the gate running. It's way better than a lot of agents out there that just take these quick real estate courses. Not that I'm knocking those, but when they join the MLS, they don't know how to run the MLS. They don't know how to access their zip forms. They don't know any of the other tools that Orange County Realtors has to offer. At least here with your student membership, you can start taking all those classes now. So that way, when you get your license and you join that broker, and you then all of a sudden pick Orange County Realtors as your board of choice, then you're off to the races, and you don't have to worry about being with everybody else. You're already ahead of the game. right? Because you've taken a few MLS classes, you've taken a couple of zip forms classes. So you don't need to worry about, geez, how do I do this? You now get to experience it. And you can now apply what you've learned to your actual tools. Does that make sense? Hopefully. Real quickly here, we have the professional standards section. I would definitely look at this, especially for the Realtor Code of Ethics, but this basically goes through the process of a pro standards hearing, what happens, what we are in charge of when somebody complains about another agent or files an arbitration because an agent didn't pay the cooperating broker the necessary compensation. So we do have those procedures. Take a look at the Code of Ethics, start reading through them. This is usually updated every year with the current information. So here, as of January 1, here are the current Code of Ethics, broken down to the 17 different articles that realtors have to follow. So I would definitely recommend going through this, reading through this. That way, you know that you hold yourself to that standard. And it's amazing to me how many agents fall into into these bad habits very early on. And then they wonder why people are filing ethics grievance violations. Now, by the way, if anybody ever filed an ethics grievance hearing against you and you lost that hearing, then fines could easily be as low as $1,000 or as much as $10,000 with a possible suspension of your MLS. So, we take the Code of Ethics very, very seriously at Orange County Realtors. So, and any board would do the same thing. So, definitely follow those Code of Ethics and make sure that you don't ever break the rules. So, things like that. Here, education. We have multiple education classes. You can look at our course catalog, look at our calendar. Here in our calendar for our month, we have various different training courses. We show you when the marketing meetings are going to happen. I give one-on-one tech training to our realtors because maybe they've gone through a couple of trainings and they just need some extra hand holding. You've got access to things like that. We've got, license renewal crash courses. We've got de-escalating in tense situation, advice from the hostage negotiator, type courses, leader professional committee meetings, feng shui, any class you can think of. And again, all you need to do is click on it and sign up for it, which I find fun. Okay. Especially if you're sitting through one of my tech training courses. But one really cool course is the feng shui course. This young lady that trains on this, she really simplifies feng shui. So you don't have to be a feng shui master. And a lot of times you deal with clients that are really into the flow of energy when it comes to a home. And this just helps you see that right out of the gate to see if it's going to be a good home for your client. Also, we have things on like how to create Facebook ads that will actually work for real estate agent ads, things like that. 8-hour continuing education, things like that. And of course, we've got the 40 standard disclosures. This gentleman, Joel Carlson, goes over the 40 mandatory disclosures that are required in a transaction, or I should say in a residential real estate transaction that a seller has to disclose. So there's a lot of disclosures you guys have to worry about. We even have the purchase agreement course. Learn the purchase agreement from top to bottom. All, I want to say 40 paragraphs, soon to be 16 pages of just what to be aware of. Okay. Let's see here. What else? Resources. Here under your resources, you got your business tools, discounts, things like that you have access for being a realtor. Many, many business tools like OC FastStats, which are statistical tools for being able to become the market expert, right? Talk about statistics. and statistics are pulled directly out of the MLS database. You can log into your zip forms from here. You have a product called Savvy Card, which is your electronic business card that you can share from your phone to anybody else's phone. Rent Spree, which is a free product. I'm sure most everybody has probably heard that commercial on the radio or seen it on YouTube, right? Great, easy tool, free for you as a realtor to be able to set up your clients who are leasing their properties to be able to easily and effortlessly screen a potential tenant. Excuse me, Reala. This is where you can go and create property websites. You have access to the store. So instead of coming to the board and physically purchasing something, here you can purchase it online, and we'll put in a little locker outside our office, and you just come by, punch in your code, just like Amazon, and pick up your stuff. We also have the market snapshot. Again, great infographics that you can feel free to share, plus a whole slew of other stuff. Okay. Of course, news and events. Here we can go and look at what's going on that in your industry. Okay, the Realtor magazine, the latest news updates that's been happening locally, things like that. Let's see here. Let's log into the MLS real quick. Here, we're just going to log into the MLS. Ken, how are we on time?
You have until whenever you're finished. This class goes till 10 o'clock.
Oh, well, we're going to be here till midnight. How's that? Okay, so crmls.org. Because I know a lot of people go, well, geez, what's the MLS like? Here at crmls.org, here you'll have access to their education classes, their online trainings, their recorded videos. You also have their support 7 days a week, Monday through Sunday, typically Monday through Friday, 8:30 in the morning to 9 o'clock at night, Saturday and Sunday hours from 10 a.m. to 3 o'clock. So when the boards are closed, the MLS is still open to help answer your technical needs. Now, to log into the MLS, agents will be able to log in. Now, unfortunately, the student ID does not afford you access into the MLS at this time. That's something that we're kind of working out with CRMLS to see if we can get a student level access where you can at least do searches. But I think there's some nuances that they're afraid of, like they don't want the students to be able to share out the properties with people because you're working as an agent at that point. But just so you know, when you join, you're going to be issued a user ID, and then you're going to be issued a password that you'll then input in. Oops, too many passwords. Once you're a member of the MLS, then you can log into the MLS. Now from here, when we go to the MLS, we can now start running property searches. Okay. So first and foremost, most of you will probably have a buyer right out of the gate, maybe a family member, maybe a friend who's looking to buy or sell or something like that. In this case, typically maybe buying a property. How you can look for properties for a client to buy? Very simply, you can come over to where it says search. When you click on the word search, this now gives you all the different property types in our MLS system that you can run searches under. Residential properties, residential income. By the way, residential income is 1 to 4 units. A lease of a property, land lot, basically a blank plot of land. Manufactured property or mobile homes. Commercial real estate. So we do have listings in our MLS database that are commercial, like apartment buildings, office buildings, business opportunities, or businesses, things like that. Cross property searches. Cross property search allows you the ability to look at multiple property types to run a search for. So maybe your client's looking for a commercial or residential income home for an investment. Here you can go to cross property, put in your criteria to look for both residential income and commercial apartment buildings. Number of units, maybe 1 to 7. And now all of a sudden it'll look at both sections to pull up property data. Okay. Now, real quickly, just to show you how we can run a search in the MLS, I'm going to come over here to a detailed search. Now, one of the many things I love about our MLS system is that without having to put in any criteria whatsoever in any of these search fields. I can immediately, looking down below here at the bottom left, I can look at more than 2,500 plus listings in the MLS database going back almost 20 years. It's when I start to input data into these fields that I'm going to pay attention to my number of matches. Because that way, as I'm putting in information, if I happen to notice that those matches immediately now goes to 0, that means I put in something so specific, it doesn't match the MLS, or it doesn't match in the MLS. Now, our MLS uses a saying, less is more, meaning less data you input in, the more information you'll get back in return. Okay. Now, real quickly here, we're going to choose our statuses. Here we've got our various different statuses, part of the MLS. I can select a status. Here I can select a property type, common interest, whatever. I can pick out my cities by simply clicking in the city field and typing in the name of the city. And what to select the property or select the city, just type a comma right after the city. Now, if I want more cities, just simply type in the name of the next city after the comma. No spaces required. So maybe Huntington Beach. And follow it up with a comma. Right now, active properties in Fountain Valley and Huntington Beach, we can look at 181 properties. Now, wait a minute. What happens if a client tells me, geez, Tony, I want something in a particular price range, or I want everything above a particular price or below a particular price? This is where the fields over here to the right are going to help out. So when it comes to the price, maybe they tell me a particular price, like $950,000. Here I can just type the number straight up, no commas, no decimal points, no dollar signs are required. Now, all of a sudden we see here that the number of matches drops down to 2 that are active in Fountain Valley and Huntington Beach. Now, why is that? It's because I just told the system I'm looking for properties that are listed at exactly $950,000. Now, what happens if I want to look for everything above a price or below a price or in between? This is where we go back to our old style keystrokes. So if I want to look for everything above $950,000, or my client does, then very simply type in the number and then follow it with a plus sign. Now I've got 108 properties that are equal to or greater than $950,000. If I'm looking for everything below 950,000, simply type in 950,000 and follow it with the minus sign. Now we've got 75 properties that are equal to or less than $950,000. But typically, clients don't usually always say, show me everything above a price or everything below a price. They tend to give you what? A range. Nothing below this, but nothing higher than that, right? So type in your low number, no space, minus, and then put in your high number. So right now we've got active properties in Fountain Valley, Huntington Beach between 950 and 1,200,000. We've got 26 matches. Now in our MLS system, this is how you would type in your number fields. Now, one nice cool tool here that I always show agents when it comes to showing them the basics of MLS is that question mark. Next to every searchable field, this question mark is a help button. And if I click on that question mark, I get to see a nice little explanation of what needs to go into that field and how to type it in. Because I always tell agents, everything that I train you today, I don't expect you to remember right away. But this question mark hopefully will stick out in your mind. So that way, no matter what field you're trying to put in data, click on that question mark and it will tell you how to fill in that field. Now, once you get to your desired number of matches for your client, go to the results. And from here, you have access to those properties. Here we can select them and email out under our actions button, email out the selected properties, or even better yet, maybe the client needs properties on a regular day-to-day basis. So not only do they need to see these properties, but any new properties this day forward, then under the save button, they can set up a new auto email. And by the way, we see all these little MLS numbers here to a property. If we click on that, number, we actually get to see the full agent report. We get to see all the listing photos. We get to see the property description, the list price, the features, the showing instructions, the private remarks, the listing agent data. So we can reach out and schedule our showings. From here, we get to see what type of property, single family, attached or detached, condo, attached or detached, what city, the street number, the street name, special listing conditions. Is it a standard sale or a trust sale or a probate or a foreclosure? We get to see the list price, and we get to see if the list price was either raised or lowered within the past 48 hours by a simple up and down arrow. We get to see how many bedrooms the property has, how many bathrooms, and what bathroom types the property has. Now, you may or may not know that there are 4 different bathroom types on a property. We have a full bath. Now, if you don't know what makes up a full bathroom has a shower, tub, sink, and toilet, all 4 components. A 3/4 bath has either a shower or a tub, a sink, and a toilet. A half bath typically has a sink and a toilet, but typically, officially, 2 of the 4 components. And then a 1/4 bath usually has just a sink in the room, like a washroom, but technically 1 of the 4 components. Okay. Square footage, days on market, the whole 9 yards. Now, real quickly here under add edit, this is where agents will go to add a new listing. In our MLS rules and regulations, once a listing contract is signed, the listing agent has 2 business days to enter that listing into the MLS. And once they enter that listing into the MLS, which, by the way, based on their contract, they'll select the choice, input the information, and all the dark colored fields here are required information. Once they fill out all the necessary information about the property and they click on submit listing, they'll be issued an MLS number to the property. And then their listing is now advertised to more than 90,000 agents, part of the MLS, more than 91,000 public websites within 24 hours. All for a simple 15-minute input of a listing. Let's see here. Realist Tax Records. This is where we can go and look at tax data information on any property in the state of California, whether it's commercial or residential. Simply here, just go to where it says Realist Tax Records. You can type in a property address. And from here, we get to see all the public data information about that property, from who owns it to the tax data information, assessments or special assessments, tax assessments, the characteristics about the property, the listing information, current, past, last sales information going back to when the property was originally generated, and of course, all the mortgages that this property has. It is amazing what is considered public data for anybody to access. Those of you who are homeowners, it is amazing what people know about your home or could know about your home. And of course, it's all mandatorily public data. The links tab here real quickly. This gives us access to all of your third-party member benefits offered to you by CRMLS. Cloud CMA is great for making CMAs, beautiful reports, really easy to use, taking the MLS data, putting it into this tool, and now all of a sudden you've got great looking listing presentations. eProperty Watch, great to keep in contact with a client after their close of escrow. So this is a great way of being able to send them monthly updates about their property value and what's going on, or quarterly property value about their property that they purchased from you. InfoSpark's another statistical tool. You'll be able to look at property data information. Now, they do have a link here to one of your other member benefits offered to you by NAR, and that is called Realtor Property Resource. Here at Realtor Property Resource, this is where we get to look at tax data information, just like Realist, except that this does not limit us to just the state of California. Here we can look at any property tax data information anywhere in the United States. So here, as an example, I'm going to type in a property address that I used to live at when I was a kid, when I lived back east. So here, 5510 39th Street Northwest, Washington, D.C. Here, when I pull up that property, get to see where I used to live, the Google Street View. We get to see estimated value. This is amazing because my father sold this home back in 1991 for $100,000. So it's amazing to see that even here in the state's capital, that property has increased value in 30 years. Kind of amazing how much it increased, though. Kind of disappointing. Wish they had kept it now that I'm older. Here you get to see the basic facts, property facts, school information, AARP livability index, which is a new tool added to this function, charts, graphs, legal description, tax data information, things like that. Here we can see where it's located on a map. As a matter of fact, we can even, back here on the home screen, do a map search and look for properties for sale in the area. So it's another database for us to be able to pull up property data. And not only do I get to see the tax information about a home, but I also get to see listing agent data. Now, the only thing I don't see here versus the MLS is showing instructions, private remarks, and compensation. But I do get to see MLS data. And again, this is nationwide. So I could look for a property, you know, maybe out in, oh, I don't know, let's go with Greenville, North Carolina. And here we get to see if they data share properties in their MLS database. And now what I could do if I was thinking about relocating, I could reach out directly to that listing agent, or maybe reach out for my client and get a referral fee. Hey, my client's thinking about purchasing a property in your area. Would you mind taking the referral and paying a referral fee? Pretty easy, right? So it's kind of cool to see what else is out there. Let's see here. So that's MLS almost in a nutshell. Real quickly here, car.org. car.org, this is the state website. This is where you're going to go mostly to access your electronic contracts called zip forms. From here, really easy to access. After you become a member, realtor member, because this is a realtor benefit, here we can go to where it says transactions, go to and access our zip forms, log into the database or log into the system. So say you're representing a seller or a buyer on a property, right? You need access to the contracts. Here, this is where Zip Forms is going to help you out, okay? Here at Zip Forms, this is where we're going to be able to pull together all the necessary contracts to buy, sell, lease properties in the state of California, okay? How we do that? From the transaction list, from logging into Zip Forms, we move our mouse to where it says New. We click on New. Now we choose what type of transaction we're going to make. Are we creating a new listing for a seller, a new offer for a buyer, a new lease for a tenant, or a new lease listing for a landlord? Well, maybe I'm making an offer on that property that I found for my client in the MLS. Now I can name it. Now naming it should be pretty easy. It can be the property address. It can be the client's name. It could be a mixture of the two. Just simply put in the information. Here, choose the property type. Now down below, I can very easily click save. Once I do that, I've now officially made the transaction. So it took us less than 2 minutes to make the transaction. But now I need to add in forms. So very simply, come over to the top or towards the right hand side of the screen, click on where it says all forms. And now I have access to more than 395 forms offered to me by CAR. Just simply click on the form that I need, add it to the transaction. Now, come back over to the left, click on the form. The form now opens up, and now I can begin to edit the form with my information, like client data. Put in the property address, my terms of the contract, everything that I need in order to make an offer on this property. Now, at the end of the day, once I get that done, now I can need to get my clients to sign this. Well, we have several ways of doing that. One, we can email the contract directly to the client for them to then print out, sign, scan it, send it back to me. Or I can send it out for e-signatures. E-signatures or e-signing allows us to digitally sign the contracts very quickly and easily for a client. So real easy on how to set that up. And here we'll just go into a different transaction. Hopefully that I already have typed up. Here we can say, send out a new set of signatures, select the contracts that we want signed, hit closed. Next, select your signers. Now, when I go next, gives me a chance to review. I get to see where their signatures are going to go on the contract. This is where their names are going to be, or where their names are at to sign and initial. Now, all I need to do, come over here to the top middle, hit next and send. Now we're off to the races. In less than 2 minutes, the first signer receives the documents. They go through, sign, 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 read, 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 make sure that they read through everything as they sign, answer their questions if need be about the contract. And then once they're done, then you as the agent, come on. Then you as the agent, where is it? There we go. We'll get in the transaction your signed contracts, to which at that point you can then email those contracts off to the other agent, to your TC, your assistant, your office manager, so on and so forth. And let me see here if I have any signed contracts that I just did recently. Sorry, I'm just trying to find those folders. There we go. So here, once you get the signed contracts back after the clients have signed them, you can now look at what those signatures look like on the terms of the contract. And now with a simple email button, email the signed contract to the other agent. So now we can quickly and easily get contracts signed and submitted and hopefully get our offers accepted. Or even better yet, if I'm the listing agent, get the listing contract done, and now I can jump right into the MLS and list the property. All very quick and easy. Let's see here. Now, how do you know what contracts you need? This is where you have tools back here at car.org's website that will help you out. Under their transaction center, there is a tool here called Forms Advisor, Forms Tutor. Now, these two tools here were created by the CAR attorneys at California Association of Realtors. And what Forms Advisor allows you to do is answer a set of legal questions, and based on your answers, will compile a list of contracts required for the transaction. So again, Forms Advisor allows you to answer a set of legal questions, most of which are yes or no answers. And based on your answers, will tell you exactly what forms are required. Now, granted, your broker typically is the first person you should go to first, but in those weird circumstances where your broker may not know the answer, and what contract you might need, Forms Advisor might help. Now, to help you also learn your forms, like what do the terms of the contract mean? Then this tool here called Forms Tutor helps out. Under Forms Tutor, this will actually take the contract, and I'm going to type in RPA, which stands for the Residential Purchase Agreement. And when I pull this up, we're going to see what the contract looks like, but we're going to see these funky little dots throughout the entire form. Now, depending on the form, we're going to see them on every page, every line, every paragraph. Hopefully. There we go. So here, this is what the current residential purchase agreement looks like. And we notice here that there's these little blue dots. So what I can do with this is I can come over to one of the blue dots, and when I click on it, I now get a written explanation of that line, of that paragraph, of that page. Now, I don't know about you guys, but how many of you like to read? Or I should say, love to read. Do I have anybody that loves reading? A couple of you? Okay. I get it. It's already tough enough to read the legal language of a contract. Do you necessarily want to read the legal explanation of the legal paragraph of the contract? Probably not, right? This is where this little blue box has a little play button right here in the top left corner. If I click on this play button,
buyer and seller acknowledge prior receipt of a disclosure regarding real estate agency relationships, CAR Form AD.
So now we can hear an audio explanation of that line, of that paragraph, of that page, depending on the contract. So this is a great and wonderful tool to actually learn your form. Now, why is it important to learn this form or any of your forms? Well, as you'll learn in your principles class, your ethics class, it is your fiduciary responsibility to make sure that the client reads and understands the contract. Part of them understanding the contract is for you to be able to explain certain paragraphs. Like, what does this paragraph mean? What does this mean? What does that mean? You have the responsibility to go over that contract with them, and you have to be able to answer those questions. If you don't answer those questions appropriately or at all, you're not meeting your fiduciary duty. Okay. So this is a great tool for you to be able to learn that contract or those contracts, to be able to more easily explain to a client why they're signing this form and what these things mean within the document. Does that make sense for everybody? I hope so. So we got to make sure, and we have a lot of responsibility and a lot of risk, because Ken will talk about this, I'm sure, in his classes. You have a lot of risk sitting on your shoulders. We're not like other states that are lawyer states where the lawyers have the rights to explain and write up contracts and things like that, and the agent has very little responsibility. But here in California, the responsibility does fall to the agents. Okay. If you don't know what that paragraph means, then it's up to you to learn it, right? Because if a client asks you a question about it, you have to confidently explain what it means. You have to confidently explain that answer. And this is a great tool for you to be able to learn those forms, because now you can feel more confident in explaining to them what it is and what these things are. Okay. I hope that makes sense. What else? Oh, back here at car.org's website, twice a year, CAR updates their forms. Under the standard forms section, this is a great way of being able to see the updates of the forms. Every June, every December, the forms are updated. Here at car.org's website, under Transaction Center and New Forms and Revisions, you can at least see what forms have been released and what things about the forms have been updated. Now, what's also cool about this tool, and we'll go back here, this used to give me a running list. So like, as an example, in December, it usually tells you how many new forms have come on, are being released on this date, and of course, what forms are being revised. And what's neat about this is that if you click on that form, you'll see highlighted in red, typically, the areas of the form that has been changed. Okay. In this case, because I'm looking at an older update, we get to see that. And Here as an example is the new draft of the new purchase agreement coming out in December of this year. So here we're going from a 10-page form to a 16-page form. And here's the full outline of the new contract. So this is a great way of being able to look through this, start getting yourself familiarized with it. Classes are getting ready to be hosted on this new contract so that people aren't stuck going, oh gosh, I don't know this new form. So it's a really good tool, and it's got, you know, some amazing new language in this contract. So everything falls to the first 3 pages, but everything else after that is all explanation. So a lot better organized for sure. Let's see. Learn and Thrive here at car.org's website. Here you also have access to getting your license renewed every 4 years, free member benefit offered to you by CAR. You don't have to pay anybody to do license renewal. Here, designations and certifications. This has every designation offered to you by both NAR and CAR that you can get. Now, why would you ever get a designation? Well, it just says that you actually took classes to become a specialist in this particular field of your real estate industry. So now all of a sudden, maybe you want to be a bankruptcy specialist or a buyer specialist or a listing specialist. You'll go through special classes to get that designation that you can now put behind your name after you're a licensee, which now just says, when somebody asks you, well, what's this designation mean? You can now say, I'm a specialist in this field of my real estate industry, which now all of a sudden helps you market yourself even better. Let's see here, Industry 360. Here we can look at statistic data, shareable information like the buyer's guide. Here, this is a great instructions on an infographic that you can download and have branded to you. So here, what we can now do is look at, oh, I don't know. Let's look at, do we have Orange County here? Orange County. And now what I can do is say, maybe select Fountain Valley in a letter format or Instagram format or Facebook post. And now what we can do, if I click on that, is be able to download it, print it, or print it right from my computer. But this is what that infographic would look like. So here in Fountain Valley, we've got a nice, cool looking infographic about the market. So really awesome tool. And again, free marketing materials for you. Let's see if we got something a little bit more with the downloads. There we go. Huntington Beach, July of 2021, median sales price for a 1-bedroom, 470, monthly payments, down payments, things like that. Things that home buyers and sellers always want to see in here. And again, information I can just simply download, print out, hand out to the public. Are there any questions about anything that we've gone over today? Because I know I've been talking at you for about an hour and a half now. Ken?
Okay, I'm gonna stop. I stopped the recording.
Oh, okay.